So that makes a decent cut right there. I mean, there's really no reason to even honestly go over that. So, but you know, thinking about it, I'm actually gonna do the back wall first because you're gonna have that buffer come out. So I wanna make sure that this comes out of the wall a little bit further. So now that we got our laser on there, we're gonna start on that back wall instead. So we got the back wall established. The other thing I wanted to pay attention to, one of the things that we planned for was so that this wall tile would come and overhang my sill. So I almost have a good inch here. So we'll build this up, but what I'm gonna do is just cut the factory edge for that fold so that works out well. So it's always nicer to leave yourself a bunch of room with your niche and then build it up to meet here. But that's something that you want to pay attention to when you're trying to lay this out, start out with. All right, so we're gonna just do, I basically, you know, the way that this looked, I honestly could have done 4-foot pieces and probably just butted everything up and made it look good, but I ended up buying enough tile so that my grout joint is directly in the middle, because I wanted to make sure that that grout joint, if it had a different variation of color, that it would look good all the way up. But now looking at this, I mean, the way this is, I think the grout that we have, I could have been a little bit less wasteful, but I basically got, 8 pieces for the back here. So there's gonna be a lot of waste with this scenario. But let's say we've got 59 and an 1/8. 59 and an 1/8. So we're just gonna center that grout joint on here. 29 and 9/16. So that's my center mark. And what my plan was that this was gonna go straight up the back and go all the way up to the ceiling. 29 and a half. 29 and a half. So give yourself a little bit of room on this. That's going to be the middle of my grout joint. So I'm going to make it 29 and a quarter. And so it's basically right down that line, really. So we'll measure down to the bench. And we've got some lead room here, so I'll give yourself a little bit of room. So 11 and 3/4. So keep in mind that all of this is going to be covered on the sides of these tiles, so you don't really have to do anything, but I mean, make some really nice cut. It's totally going to work out for me. There's really no chips at all. Just got a little bit of a shim on there. Yeah, I like the way that looks. This actually lines up with my joint right there too, which works out good.
How's the sticker feel?
It's nice. Yeah, it's on the looser side. I do recommend keeping your Thinset a little bit on the thinner side for these big tiles, because you're going to need it to be a little bit fluid for it to bond well. But yeah, it's a nice. It feels like a nice non-sag. So just do directional troweling. This just helps be able to get all the air to escape out of the ridges, because basically you just collapse them when you're installing these. And then just make sure you back butter your tile with the back side of the trowel. You basically just move this back and forth, and that'll collapse the ridges nicely here. And you pull this off. You can see how that's all kind of suctioning out there, that's a good amount of heat. So if you're not getting that, and it's like you're still seeing major trowel lines, then you want to, you know, your thin set's a little too thick, or there's not enough. Because we want to have something for the, because we're going to silicone the joint there, and so you want to have a little bit of space there so that the silicone has something to grab into. So even if it's just at the 16th, it's good enough. But just pay attention to that laser, make sure that's straight across there. And then in the meantime, I'm just going to actually wipe off this thin set because I don't want that to get too dry, because we have a whole nother piece we have to cut. So that's one thing about thin set, you don't want to leave it on the wall too long or it'll skin over. So if you just wipe this down as you go with these bigger tiles, it's probably best. So normally on a situation like this, I like to run all of my back wall tile all the way up and then basically conform my sides. But in this scenario, I'm going to basically be bringing a full piece up. It's going to fold into the corner, but this piece is going to be cut straight across here. And I want to make sure that this joint is going to be aligned with these tiles over here. So I'm going to just bring this up as we go so I can ensure that, you know, when I put this tile here, that I'm able to make that completely across there. Because if something was just even an 1/8 inch off, I mean, you can't really afford that, because we're only putting basically 16th inch grout joints in between here. So you don't have very much fudge room at all. And I really wanted these joints, you know, I kind of wanted them to match as best as I can with the rest of the tile. So I think these are what, like, yeah, they're 1/8 inch grout joints. So that's an 1/8. I mean, that's probably like 5/32, I guess. So that's about as close as I'm going to get it. But it's better than the 16th inch joint, because that made it a lot bigger of a joint. All right, so we got a little template here that goes straight down to the floor. This is going to help. Rather than measuring everything, we're just going to use this. So normally, if I'm confident about running this entire wall, I'll run this from floor to ceiling. But in this instance, I'm not sure how long this is all going to take me, and I might stop part of the day. So I'm just going to, once I'm done with the day, I'm going to slide this in and just leave it loose on the top portion of the wall. I don't want to thin set this in, because I want to have the ability to shim this out or move it if I need to make this work. If I thin set this in and then this tile comes out a little bit, then I'm kind of screwed. But a lot of the times I end up having to use some kind of, you know, spacer here to keep this covering the edge of my tile. So that's the reason I'm not embedding this. But as long as you have plenty of thin set when you set this into place, you should be in good shape. Okay, so we'll clean that off. We're gonna do the other side now. And like I said, I mean, before the end of the day, we're gonna slide this in, but we'll just keep this without any thin set behind it, because I wanna be able to move this. You know, if I were to stop right now, I'd just slide it in there and leave it at that, because then if you don't have any thin set behind it, you can still kind of shim this out. All right, this is a good time to stop. We're gonna keep going with the towel after lunch here.